By the time the Third Era rolled into Tamriel, Vivec City was over 1,000 years old, and the three district Great House seats, Balmora, Aldrune, and Sadrith Mora, were newly founded settlements. Back then, Vardenfell was mostly a temple preserve, with the exception of the sacred city of Vivec and three Great House settlements. Balmora was built during the chaos of the Interregnum during the end of the Second Era. The Interregnum was a period in the Second Era of Tamriel's history, between the fall of the Second Empire and the proclamation of the Third Empire by Tiber Septim. At that time, the Great House Redoran expanded their reach into the island of Vardenfell and sought to build various settlements across the region. House Redoran struck a deal with the Hlalu construction syndic to build bustling trade towns like Balmora and Suran. Though the contract stated that the towns were to be built in the Redoran style of architecture, the syndic built them in the Hlalu style of architecture. At that time, House Hlalu's only foothold was the fishing village of Seyda-Nin, but Balmora and Suran were still governed by House Redoran. Balmora was built on the banks of the Odai River, in the midst of a great valley that marks the southernmost edge of the West Gash. Much of the land that surrounds the city is rocky scrubland, natural stone menhirs, and green hills. By 3E 414, Vardenfell had been reopened to the local populace of the Empire, and waves of people built communities in the previously uninhabited region. The island was split into 4 territories. House Hlalu claimed the southwest portion of Vardenfell that had once belonged to House Redoran, extending between the Bitter Coast and Balmora to the Ascadian Isles and Suran. The city of Balmora had grown exponentially in the years that followed Vardenfell's organization as a provincial district under Duke Vedum Dren, becoming the second most populated settlement behind Vivec City. In 3E 426, a minor tax revolt in Balmora was suppressed without undue harm to life and property. The protests were based on the continuing burdensome imperial tariffs on the native beverages like Sujama, Grief, and Shane. The council sent deputations to Vedum Dren to express their concerns over the high tax rates and the injurious effect of high tariffs on trade. During the Blight outbreak in 3E 427, a certain outlander was sent to Balmora by the Emperor Uriel Septim VII to meet the imperial Grand Spy Master of the Blades, Caius Cosades. Caius eventually sent the outlander to acquire information on the Sixth House and the Nerevarine prophecies. Eventually, Cosades was recalled back to the imperial city, and that outlander was soon recognized as the Nerevarine. In 3E 427, the city of Balmora was split into 3 districts. The commercial district is found on the western side of the river. It is the home of several businesses and the town plaza. A silt strider port is located by the south gate. The Kimona Tong had their own council club in the commercial district. Labor Town, on the east side of the river, is the general residential district, housing the common folk and several corner clubs. The High Town is on the northwestern hill that looms over the city. It houses the House Hlalu nobility and even the tribunal temple of Balmora. In 4E05, Bar Dao crashed into Vivec City and caused a great chain reaction that led to the eruption of Red Mountain. The event became known as the Red Year, in which severe ash storms and lava floods pillaged the entire island of Vardenfell, which was flooded by seas of lava, and great cities from Balmora to Sadrith Mora were completely destroyed. A Redoran-led relief effort was sent into the island roughly a month later. The commoner, Daros Dran, was sent to Balmora and found the city in shambles, with nothing left standing. There, Daros Dran spent 2 months rebuilding the city of Balmora, which again fell into the hands of House Redoran after nearly 500 years of House Hlalu rule. Balmora is mentioned in the historical fiction book 2920, The Last Year of the First Era. The book mentions a luxurious palace in Balmora, owned by the warrior poet of the tribunal, Vivec, with a grand plaza in the front. It also says that Almalexia and Sotha Sil came here to heal after their confrontation with Mehrunes Dagon, which left Mournhold burned asunder. When playing Morrowind, you meet Sul-Matul the Ashkan of the Ursulaku Ashlander tribe. He talks about House Hlalu, and says Balmora is known as Stonewood by the Ashlanders.
The Khans of the great houses are called councillors. The Khans of House Hlalu meet in a place on a river far away. They call the place Balmora, Stonewood in our speech. You must find these counselors and persuade them to name you Hortator. I can tell you nothing about these people. You must go there and learn for yourself.
When playing Skyrim, you meet Erikr the Thane of Solitude. He speaks about a drink called the Balmora Blue. He says,
I know that it starts with moon sugar, but all sorts of other ingredients are added to increase its potency. Used to be a lucrative underworld commodity when Balmora was still standing. Now the stuff is beyond valuable. It's also very illegal. Anyone caught with Balmora Blue looks forward to rotting in jail for a very long time.
Erikr in Skyrim says, it used to be a lucrative underworld commodity when Balmora was still standing. So by 4E201, is Balmora not standing anymore? There is no lore information about the towns of Vardenfell in the 4th era. We do know that House Redoran rebuilt Morrowind after the Red Year. Surely Balmora must be thriving now in the 4th era. The community mod project Beyond Skyrim. Morrowind is being actively developed by a great team of volunteers. This mod will be set in the province of Morrowind in the 4th era. In 4E201, Balmora will be controlled by House Redoran. Thus the buildings will be using the House Redoran architecture style. According to the mod developers, Balmora has been semi-rebuilt in Beyond Skyrim Morrowind. It's a House Redoran outpost nowadays based on the team sent out there mentioned in the Red Year book. But it's a pretty small outpost. The main thing there is the excavation site of the ruins. The mod will be released soon, and then we can finally explore Balmora in the 4th era. Balmora is an iconic location when playing the Elder Scrolls II, Morrowind. It is the first major town most players head to, and is an important landmark in the Elder Scrolls series.